It is a great opportunity to be with you right now to worship the Lord together. And for almost 10 years that I am here, I consider it a great opportunity to be invited and be with you today. I hope you could see in the projection what I could see in my screen. Without much ado, let's proceed to the Word, which is of course the center of our worship today. Father God, we thank you because we are your children. And as your children, responding to your offer of salvation, we are here in the fold, experiencing happiness and assurance of your kingdom. Today, we would be receiving your word, all of us. So please, ready us, O Lord. We claim this in Jesus' name. Amen. Seventh-day Adventists in Seventh-day Adventism. What have we become? Let us consider some major aspects of Seventh-day Adventism. First, doctrines. Second, the lifestyle. Third, the evangelistic aspect of the church, the services we offer, and the general behavior of Seventh-day Adventists. When it comes to doctrines, my dear fellow members, the 28 fundamental beliefs, organized under the theme of the great controversy between Christ and Satan, express thorough and consistent theology based on the scriptures. Do you agree with me? Thank you. From the creation until the recreation, from the war in heaven until its ending on the cross, from the conception of sin until its final elimination on God's third coming, unite all fundamental beliefs soon in one thread, answering important questions on issues here on earth, giving the world a better picture of who really God is, the God of love and the God of justice. Perfect. Second, lifestyle of Adventists. We respect life and the environment. Like given the health messages, 1st May 6, 1863, Seventh Adventists practice health reform by obeying Levitical health laws until we return to the original diet as emphasized in our writings of our God's Messenger. Our holistic health message expresses our respect to life and the environment and to God who created us in His likeness. Perfect. It's not just about non-pork eating. It's about the entire lifestyle that made us the third longest living group of people in the world, after Japan, France, and of course the third, California, Seventh-day Adventists. Third, evangelism, a fast-growing church from less than 100 members on 1844 to 18 million 479. You see the figure there. I don't know right now, 2015, because this was taken last year. So probably today we are almost 19 or 20 for 170 years. I missed the zero. That's an important zero today. I missed the zero after 7. Okay? Now, using what? Of course, evangelistic activities, publishing houses, hospitals, schools, media ministries. We go to the fourth, services. Among Christian sects or groups, we have the most, and we also have the best. Well, oh sorry, publishing houses all over the world, we have 63. Hospitals, 173. Clinics, 294. Nursing homes, 126. Orphanages, 34. Airplanes used for medical services, 7. We have schools, 7,579, all in all. We have media centers, which is 15 in number. Then we have 21 food industries. Other projects for 2014, we have 1,007 projects funded by our ADRA. So when we come into this singularity of Christian sects, we have the most and we have the best. So we are, oh, I'm sorry.
That's good.
My battery's life was only until there. I lost my power cord 2 weeks ago. I do not know where they left it. In the church, Chinese church, or in the mission, but I'm sure it was not in Mati. Last week we were in Mati, and we were able to join them in their church music thing. And I'm also happy to tell you that some of our responses in our worship, we have new songs that would actually fit the details of our program. So if you would like to welcome the changes for our worship, we are very much happy to share with you the new songs. Thank you. Okay, now we now go to the fifth. I'm sorry, sometimes we could not let go of our Thomastic principle. To see is to believe. So I have really to see whether it's doing good there in the projection area. General behavior of members. Seventh Adventists are the kindest among Christians. Yes? The most hospitable, the humblest and the most patient, the most well-mannered, the most peace-loving, the most easy to deal with, the most trusted, and the most happy are we. Generally, do we picture that out to Seventh-day Adventist members? Please be honest, yes or no? I am honest, and I would tell you, no. We are not known to be the kindest, warmest. I am very sorry. Evaluations would reveal that. We have the most and the best in services. We have the most thorough doctrine, consistent, perfect theology when it comes to the systematic theology. Hermeneutics, exegesis, we have the best. But when it comes to behavior, I tell you, Southern Baptists are warmer than us. Yes. I'm sorry. When it comes to activities, I mean, the happy disposition when we serve, it is not us. The evangelicals, they do better. That's according to research. I just do not want to put it here because I do not want to put us in shame. In war, in being war, we are the third. At least we are not the least. Okay? About the happiness and activity, maybe number 5, number 4. Maybe today it's number 4 because we are growing. But we are not the kindest, nor the most. Why? What's the problem with us? We have the truth. I think something is really wrong. But to our consolation, it is not only God's people right now in the last days who are in this great problem. Why? Okay? But before we proceed, let's pass by how do people identify Seventh-day Adventists. Number 1, they are Saturday keepers, not Sabbath, because they also believe that Sunday is their Sabbath. So we are Saturday keepers. Second, we do not eat pork. Okay? We are dogmatic in the 10 Commandments. Then we have sanitariums. Then we have schools. Then we do not take Saturday classes. Then we wear no jewelries. Is this correct? Yeah. Having the most and the best, why aren't we known as the best Christians ever? What is our problem? Elijah. He is considered as the greatest reformer of all time, according to the history of the Israelites. So maybe you will not agree with this theologian, so I say one of the greatest reformers of all time. What did he do? He brought back faith to God after the Mount Carmel victory. He ran for his life in fear after Jezebel threatened him. That was a day after. What was his problem? Exhaustion while doing service. He was so exhausted. Second, Moses, the greatest prophet leader of Israel. That's according to the last part of his book. He brought out God's people from the bondage of Egypt. The most patient leader according to the scriptures. And unfortunately, he struck the rock twice when God said, just say to the rock. And he accepted the responsibility of the miracle. That was his problem. What was his problem? Self-glorification after he did some services. Number 3, David, the greatest king of Israel. The man after God's own heart. Okay? He made Israel the strongest during his reign, but committed his biggest crime with Bathsheba. What was his problem? He defocused himself after doing services. Changed his focus. Turned away from his focus. That was his problem. Number 4, Solomon, the wisest king of Israel. And for some, greater than David. He was gifted of extraordinary wisdom from the Lord. He made Israel the greatest during his reign. Not just the strongest, but the greatest. But what was his problem? He backslid from the Lord because he was overconfident. Because of his wisdom, his knowledge, and everything that the Lord gave him made him to be overconfident. So, what was their problems? Exhaustion, self-glorification, defocus, and number 5, overconfidence. Adventist church workers are not exempted. These are the symptoms. How many of you are exempted from this? Maybe number 1 is exhaustion, right? You're exhausted of working, 7, 8 hours a day, without measure, or including the extra, the OT, without pay. And of course, much requirements also in the work, in the church, plus in the school, plus in the family, exhaustion. And sometimes, we can also do, you are already in your MA, in your nursing, or other professions in the hospital. You have a PhD. So, sometimes you would rely on yourself and what you do. He is really gifted with that in the world. We tend to forget the Lord who had endowed us with these gifts. Is that our tendency, or are you exempted? Being focused, meaning this is your focus and then you change your focus. And of course, overconfidence, like we are working in the Lord's institution. You're going to the hospital to work is already service. Why smile? That's an additional load. When you have problems in your house, it is actually a burden to smile. Is it? It is, or is it not? It is. When you do not want to be happy is a struggle. Now, we are human beings. Several good diagnostic tests we asked while we were in our institutions. First, am I doing the right thing? Do we ask this to ourselves? Yes or no? Thank you. Number 2, is this really God's will for me? Yes or no? Yes. Number 3, why can't other SDAs work in our institutions like me? Why would they choose government hospitals? Have you asked this of yourselves against those who did not apply here in our sanitarium or hospital? Yes. Is my sacrifice as working with low salary enough? Okay. Next, how can I hold on working in our institution? Because of course, you only receive 10,000 and your friend there with the same profession is also, would receive like 25 a month. So you ask yourself too, how can I hold on? How many souls were baptized with my ministry? Have we asked this ourselves too? Yes or no? Oh, well, some maybe. How many friends did I make while working? Are these good questions? Yes or no? Yes, these are good questions. Unfortunately, good is not enough. Why? Is it our goal while working in our Adventist hospital? Is it our goal to count souls? Is it our goal to count patients that we have cared? What for? For self-glorification? For self-fulfillment? Well, at least I smile to a lot of people today, even if I did not feel like smiling. Very good. That's good. In psychology, you're doing good and you're doing great. But in Christianity, you are doing poorly. Because that is not the right question. As a pastor, like Pastor Navarro here, most often we have to ask that questions because our system would require us like, how many souls is your goal here? 60? 60, right? Well, with the Filipino Chinese church, we were given 60, but I said, what is our focus? Chinese or gold? Because for Chinese people, 50 is an impossible number. Even 5 is impossible. So I said, what is my focus in the urban ministry? Chinese or professionals or city, urban or gold? Because if you would say gold, I'll go to the mountains. 2 weeks, you could reach your goal. You understand me? Yeah, so they said, well, that's your problem. You are assigned there, and it's up to you. And of course, so I did the best thing I can do. I am looking for 10 Chinese here in the city, and I look for 40 Chinese up in the mountains. Plenty of Chinese there. Mag-exalo Chinese. Plenty. How about Pastor Navarro? Huh? Where do you get your 60? My point here is, we could not deny the fact that the system where we are in would lead us to ask that, how many did I bring to the church? So we could not blame ourselves. Because even in our leadership, that is actually a logical question. That is a good question, but that is not our primary question. I mean, let us not stop asking that, because that is part of the measuring stick. And sometimes, in our humanity, that is also a solution. But the best solution or question is not these questions, rather this question. The best diagnostic test should be, how does my ministry brings me closer to my Lord? This is the best question. Most often, I have been in the church work for quite a time, not of course in comparison to Dr. Patalingo. I was in the work in the organization since 2001. And as we encounter workers from one institution to another, the prevailing thing is that I am working in God's institution. I don't need anything else. We are wrong. It is not your being a worker of Davao Adventist Hospital that will bring you to heaven. Never. We know that. This is just a reminder. Sometimes we tend to forget. The question is that, how is my ministry here in the hospital brought me closer to the Lord? Because that's the only goal that we have. If you would say, I'm working for the Lord here, that's the same thing with those who are working in secular institutions. We could never say that we are doing ministry and they do not. They do ministries more than we do. We do not have Sabbath persecutions. How about them? That is the greatest hurdle. And as they continue to stand strong for the Lord, that is already a big ministry that we are not doing. If we give care to our patients, Adventist nurses in Davao, SPMC, they do the same. So the question is not, the point is not, while you are in the work, in our institution, you are doing the ministry. They do too. The greatest question that we, together with those outside, should ask ourselves is this: is my ministry bringing me closer to my Lord? It is not the number of souls that God will ask you. It is how you grow as you bring these souls into the feet of the Lord. Are you becoming proud because of the 100 of souls that you brought to the feet? You will lose heaven. Are you proud because of being kind and being patient with the patients, and you are given, the medal of the best nurse for this year. If that will get into your head, you will lose the kingdom of God. I am sorry, but that is the reality of God's people, not just in one institution, but in all institutions all over the world. Satan would use even your own religious strength to take away your focus from the Lord and bring it to your own self, to make you proud of yourself, defocus you, exhaust you, and make you overconfident. So, diagnosis rolled in, maybe rolled out. You are committed to service, but loveless in touch with an unhappy disposition. And even your smile is a forced and fake one. Meditation. Elijah was told by the Lord, take some rest, 40 days and 40 nights. Rest, eat, sleep, eat, and sleep. He was exhausted. So God said, take some rest. Moses, the Lord conversed with him. He was proud. He became proud. He was harmless. But Satan used that to weaken him, to bring him down. He was humble, and he became proud of being humble. Number 3, David. He listened to God's prophet. Okay, God would send what? Prophets, spiritual leaders. And he said, listen to my people. And then Solomon, God spoke to him with his wisdom given. Thank you. His spiritual wisdom brought him back to his senses. Thank you. Davao Adventist Hospital workers, the best Christian workers ever. I pray and I hope that this would be the conclusion, or meaning the prevailing message for the years to come. Because we have learned from the 4 greatest people, four greatest people in the scriptures. Elijah, greatest reformer. Moses, greatest prophet leader. David, greatest king. Solomon, greatest in wisdom. We learn from them. We should have a restful communion with the Lord regularly. We all need that. When you go home every night from work, do that. Have a 30-minute break from your children. You tell them, please, I need some time of silence. After 30 minutes, you come. Let's play. Restful communion. Second, converse with the Lord through prayer. Right now, we have a care group in the Chinese church, young professionals. They are workers of Sutherland, and of course, they are not Adventists. What we do actually is not doctrinal issues. We share devotionals. And then one of the students or members of the care group said, it's not good to argue with God because we should respect God. I told him, no. You argue with God. You tell him, I do not understand you. Right now, I'm angry with you. She said, can I say that? Yes. Because God would actually know if you are angry or not, and He wants you to be honest with yourself. You will say, Lord, I love you, but deep in you, you're angry. God will not listen to you. In fact, He will impress you that you should tell Him that you are angry. That's the only thing that we can do with the Lord. Let's be honest with Him. So you argue with Him, Lord, I can't understand. You do not tell that to those who do not believe in God. You tell it to God Himself. And the Lord, would smile and embrace you and comfort you. The best thing is you talk with Him. Even if you argue, even if you would insist yourself in talking, eventually the Lord will answer you. And after some 15 or 20 minutes or maybe a day, God would impress you. And eventually would say, Lord, I'm sorry. But that's the best thing that we can do with God. We can argue because He's God and a friend. And eventually, after arguing, He will impress you with His word because He is not just a friend. He is God. And if you continue to talk with Him, you will also continue to listen to Him. Third, consult God's overseers. Our ministers, chaplains, assistant chaplain, our administrators, our spiritual leaders. These are God's providence to help us in our Christian walk. And number 4, listen to the Holy Spirit who gives you the spiritual wisdom in your own conscience. Easy, right? Is it easy? Yes or no? It is so and too easy that we do not do this. You know what is basic in tennis? You know what is basic? Eyes to the ball. As long as you would fix your eyes to the ball, you will not lose the ball, correct? Tennis players. In basketball, what is the technique? Eyes to the ring. When your eyes are fixed on the ring, it's actually a bigger percentage that the ball will shoot. But why is it that we do not shoot the ball? Because we do not fix our eyes in the ring. Why is it that your ball in tennis is erratic? Because you do not fix your eyes to the ball. Why is it that we are not happy serving the Lord? We are disasters in our world because we miss the basics of Christian life, and that is restful communion with the Lord every day. Second, talk to the Lord, converse with Him. Are you really talking to the Lord? Are you really conversing? Or you are just telling Him about everything that shuts your ears closed and do your own way? Number 3, consult spiritual physicians. And number 4, you listen to Him by your conscience or in your head. Unfortunately, not everyone who works for the Lord will be saved. Lord, have we not prophesied in your name, cast out demons in your name, and done many wonders in your name? And then I, Jesus Christ said, will declare to them, I never knew you. Depart from me. But when we live a Christ-like life, that working in this institution brings us closer to Him. When we do that, what will Jesus Christ say? Well done, good and faithful servant. Because you are faithful over a few things. What few things? Communion, talking with Him, plus of course, you're being the kindness nurse, the most patient nurse. The most patient nurse will also have the most patient patient. Have you noticed that? Huh? Then I will make you ruler of many things. Enter into the joy of the Lord. What is our greatest question right now, Davao Adventist hospital workers? Is my ministry here in the hospital bring me closer to my Lord? Please never ever forget that. Because if you could answer that positively, you are the best in the kingdom of the Lord. Challenge. Do not let your services for the Lord bring you to yourself. Let your services for the Lord bring you to Him. Ask not how many souls did you bring to the Lord. Ask if working for Him brought you to Himself. When you answer this question positively, drawing people to the Lord is an automatic reaction. A story is told of a certain nurse in the US. No, it was not actually about a nurse. It was actually about a 12-year-old damsel who was admitted in the hospital because of an accident, car accident. She was separated from her parents because she was put in ICU or maybe something like that. Her parents were in another wing of the hospital. But the parents were assured that do not worry, we have the best nurses here in the community who will take care of your damsel. The damsel stayed for 1 month in that special room. And every day, there was a nurse who was like 40s, who, even if it was not her duty, would always pass by and ask the little girl, how are you? And the nurse would give her apples and fruits, and before she would also go back to her duty, she would pass by this little girl, and that would be almost every day. After a month, the little girl was taken out of the hospital, and around 30 years later, that little girl became a nurse. While working as a nurse, she happened to meet a very adorable, like 80 to 90-year-old patient who was smiling always, even in her pain. And this young nurse would always pass by too and do extra curricular activities in the hospital, especially taking care of those patients who do not have family members who take care of them. So after 2 weeks of, the acquaintance with this very old patient, the young nurse was there. The patient asked her, "Mom, why did you become a nurse?" And of course, the young nurse told her, when I was admitted in the hospital one time, there was a nurse who would always pass by my bed. She would give me apples and fruits. And then starting that time, I made a vow and promise to myself that when I would become old, when I would grow, I will become a nurse. I was afraid of needles. I was afraid of blood. But her services as a nurse changed my mental paradigm. So now I am a nurse. Really? The old patient said. And then she said, when I was young, 30 years ago, I was also working in a hospital, and I would always frequent a 12-year-old patient in her room. And I was so happy bringing her these things because I feel that I would be fulfilled and I was doing God some pleasures when I would serve beyond my service time. And then the nurse said, in what hospital did you work? In this hospital. And then the nurse said, I was admitted in that hospital. So is this you now? It was actually a reunion of hearts 30 years after. She, the nurse, was not an Adventist. How about us? How about us? My question is not about patients we brought to the Lord. My question is, how is our services brought us to the Lord, which resonated in bringing others to the Lord? I hope and I believe that when we do those four medical solutions, my dear friends, brothers and sisters, we can do better than the others. And so when the Lord will come, He will tell us, congratulations, my dear workers in Davao Adventist Hospital. You are faithful in a few things. I will make you rulers of many. Enter now into the joy of your Lord. This is my prayer.